why go in the opposite way? I never done this before. This is exciting. Hopefully they don't yell. Can I do a 20-ounce white chocolate Americano?
Yeah, next to your hot.
Let's do a hot one.
Do you have a phone number with us?
I don't think I do, no.
Do you want to sign up?
Yeah, let's do that. Thank you.
Yeah, have a good day.
You as well. That was sick. They didn't even care it was right-hand drive, but I care. No cup holder in here, but if you take out this little ashtray right here, it kind of works. Nice tight fit. She'll do the trick. What is going on, my friends? Welcome back to the channel. Got to the shop bright and early today to make some sick progress on the STI hatch. So we've had these panels sitting outside for a little bit now. I'm gonna let them bake in the sun for a couple hours, and hopefully that will help us be able to wrap over our filler primered areas without the wrap peeling up the primer. That is the issue we were having yesterday. Is maybe 5 hours after we sprayed them, and then I attempted to wrap a piece, and it did not go well. So we'll see what happens later on. I'm gonna let those sit outside for a couple hours, and hopefully that helps it out. I really want to get pretty much this whole body of the car completely finished up before we move on to engine-based stuff. We solved the brakes, we have wheels and tires, we have some other aero pieces and parts. So I think the next step of this project is gonna be the front end, the front bumper. She needs a lot of love. The main love that it needs is we need to finish up the wide body pieces for the front bumper and get them to fit right, get them to sit how we want them to sit. So let's get the car on the ground and let's do some messing around with the front end. So of course these pieces are made for the OEM front bumper. That's why they don't fit like they should on this Voltex style front bumper. But this bumper looks 10,000 times better than the OEM bumper, in my opinion. I was initially gonna mold them into the bumper, but I'm not so sure that I want to anymore. I guess we're gonna see here in a minute. First thing I wanna do is get the front fender wide body panels on both sides. We need to get this bumper fully secured exactly where it needs to sit. I made that mistake with the rear bumper. We fully attached the wide body panels onto the rear bumper, and then after that we did some adjusting, and now the rear bumper panel doesn't line up perfectly with the rear quarter panel wide body piece. We'll probably have to just slot the holes a little bit and do some adjusting there. Let's get these pieces popped off. I think I'm gonna add a quick release right here where that screw is. Just a nice little button like we have on the rear. And once we get this bumper fully secured exactly where we want it on the car, get the wide body fenders on and get these pieces sitting exactly where we want them to sit. So here is what we did so far. When I bought this bumper, it came with this quick release setup. So two quick releases here, quick release mount, The mount was supposed to mount further back on the fender, but of course, because we had to cut the fender for the wide body kit, I had to do some improvising. So what I did is I took the bracket, I bented it, and I pushed it all the way back toward the fender, trimmed it properly. I then welded this bracket right to the fender. So this is our new bumper mount. It's gonna mount back here with a bolt. That bolt will be hidden underneath the front wide body panel. And then, like I said earlier, probably a quick release setup right here, because this is gonna be visible. I want it to look really, really nice. So I'm thinking a quick release button right here. And then if need be, we can always add the 2 quick releases in right here, but those would have to be on the actual wide body panel. So they'd be sitting up here somewhere, because this guy sits like that. So like I said, if we need to, we can always punch in 2 holes on this guy, add in the 2 buttons on here. Not sure if that's gonna be necessary or not. Let's go get the bumper bolted back up. Let's see how good it fits with our new bracket. I think we should be good. As you can see, she fits really, really nice now. No gap like we had before. Fairly solid. Of course, it's gonna flex a little bit, which I most likely will build some lower brackets as well. That's what we gotta do on the FRS. I built a bracket from the bumper back to the body. So I might do that on this car. I'm gonna go ahead, replicate what we just did on the passenger side, and then this thing should be ready for some wide body stuff. You want to know how you know I'm not very good at welding? I just welded aluminum to steel. How I found that out is I was welding this fender and it completely melted that bracket right there, which is aluminum. And I didn't even think to check it. And then I'm like, okay, I should probably see if it's magnetic or not. And of course, like just by looking at it, you can tell it's aluminum, but steel? Aluminum. Beautiful. I'm not sure how this one stuck so good. But either way, that's probably not gonna last very long, so I need to figure out a different solution. Yeah, I would not recommend welding aluminum to steel. It doesn't work very well. So I just got the passenger side all finished up. Here's what we ended up with. Quick release button right here. I'm gonna fill this hole and I'm gonna fill that hole because those are not needed. That hole right there will be bolted onto that quick release bracket. So we have mounting point there, the 4 up top, and then we have to duplicate this exact thing on the other side. Now it was a little bit difficult trying to get this quick release to work. Let me show you guys why. There wasn't much space between the bumper and this bracket. Not even enough space to run a nut. So what I had to do, you see that tiny little tack weld right there? That is in place of the nut, so that is holding the top side. And then of course on the bottom side, on the back side, we have a nut and washer. If we had a nut on there, it was way too thick and it kept hitting that quick release button. So that is the best option that we found. It works really, really well. It's nice and sturdy, nice and strong. And yeah, we should be good. So I'm gonna duplicate this exact setup. Oh, and as far as the weld, the aluminum welded to steel, of course that didn't work. So I just took this piece right here and I bent it flat and then I drilled a hole and just bolted it right to the fender. So it bolts on the fender right there, bolts on the fender underneath there, and then bolts onto the fender and the fender mount onto the body right down there. So it's a pretty solid, sturdy setup. I like it, I'm happy with it. And that quick release button is really, really clean. Even though it's faded, I have a new black one on the way, so it won't be faded anymore. We finally got the bumper completely mounted up how it needs to be sitting. Let's go ahead, get the front fender pieces on, and then we can work on the bumper extensions. So I believe this is gonna be the final look of the front end of this car. Drop a comment in the comment section below, let me know what you guys think. I did see a lot of comments about this vent hole right here being different side to side, and yes, it is most certainly different. In that vent goes these pieces right here. I got some nice carbon fiber ones on the way. Oops, but those are gonna sit up in there. I'm just gonna completely cover that, so whenever the new ones come in, of course I'll shape them to fit these. But for now, I'm not gonna worry about it. Also, in other news, we broke our fiberglass. It was so thick and so built up on the backside, I kept having to shave it down, shave it down. I was trying to get it to flex a little bit and it wouldn't flex. So I heated it up a ton and then ended up cracking it. So what we need to do, I need to go buy more fiberglass resin, but we need to have it completely shaped to the bumper, kind of like how it is right now, and then refiberglass it. And then of course we're gonna have to go through and redo the filler, redo the primer, but that's okay because it still does need some work down here, as you guys can see. Not exactly sure what I wanna do. What I wanna do down here, I'll probably extend this out just so that follows all the way down to this bumper line right here. That'd make it look nice and clean. I want these to be as best looking as possible. Okay, so here is the plan. Of course, we need to repair all of this. So I need to pull it off. I'm gonna grind a ton of material off the backside, because if you guys remember, we put a ton on there, like 5 layers of fiberglass. So I'm gonna make it much thinner this time. I think what I'm gonna do is lay down the fiberglass, lay down the resin, and then put it back on the car and shape it exactly like this. So it hardens and cures completely while it's in shape. And then as far as that down there, I'm gonna trim this little piece out right here, and then I'll glass that in there like that. That should take care of that issue. And then the rest of this, I'm just gonna round all of the edges off, make it nice and clean looking. Do my best to get it to fit in the bumper as best as possible, and I think we will be good. So let's get this done, let's get her fixed up, and move on from there. So we got the driver's side sitting out in the sun right now, trying to bake that fiberglass so it dries a little bit quicker. I wasn't gonna do this, but we're already so close to near perfection with this front end that I might as well make it as perfect as possible. If you look right here, bumper extension sticks over the fender just a little bit. So I think I'm gonna go ahead and sand that down. And then right here, the fender sticks over the extension just a little bit. So I'll try to kind of just make this whole thing flow really nice. So let's go ahead and knock that down. Kind of sucks we already primed the fender, but we shouldn't have to add any more filler or any sort of primer on this. Just sand it down and then sand it with a finer grit, make it nice and smooth. We should be good to go. I'm gonna go ahead and call that good. Now, of course, we need to fine sand it. So I'll probably go, that was 40 grit, so I'll probably go 120, 240, 400, 600, something like that, just to make it all nice and smooth again. So this is the passenger side, and this is the final finished look. So how she's gonna fit. I'm gonna go ahead and add a hidden bolt right there. So I'll just epoxy one on the back side, just to keep that in and not flop around. So one's gonna go there, one will go there, one will of course go up there, and then we'll be having a bolt right here on the back side, of course, holding this guy to the fender. And then whenever the carbon fiber vent comes in, we're gonna have to trim the bumper and the vent will go in there. That is how she's gonna look. I actually really like it. I am stoked. I know initially I was planning on just molding them right into the bumper, but I decided after spending multiple days doing bodywork on like almost a week doing bodywork on this car, that I don't want to spend another day or so trying to learn how to mold stuff in. I've never done that either, and this is not the car to do it on. If I'm gonna mold something, I want to mold the whole kit, not just one piece. So that's what we're gonna do. Don't mind the air noise. Our air hose got a hole in it. I tried to duct tape it and didn't really work too well. So yeah, we'll have to deal with that for a minute. Passenger side is all good to go. Unfortunately, where we did sand down that area to match the fender flare, it's a bit too deep to just completely sand out. We do have to prime other parts anyway, so I'll just shoot some primer on this real quick when we do that, and I'll have to shoot some primer on that fender as well. We got the area down to bare fiberglass. That is where one stud is gonna go, and then another one's gonna be tacked on back there, and one right there. So 3 bolts per flare. This fiberglass is all cured. Let's go ahead and shape this thing up, get it as best as possible. And yeah, that is much, much better than last time. I actually ground it all the way down to fiberglass this time instead of fiberglassing right over that paint. Okay, so this extension is 100% spot on. It's all finished up. It fits really, really well. Oh man, I'm stoked for this now. I'm kind of glad it broke because the second time we did this, it turned out 10,000 times better. Of course, it's gonna need some filler primer, but I'm gonna wait to do this until we do other pieces, because we have to do this, we have to do the other extension, we have to do the other front fender. The line from this panel to this panel is pretty freaking decent. I'm not gonna worry about it. It's really nice, so hell yeah, I'm excited. And remember guys, big old carbon fiber vent goes in there, so don't worry about that. Let's get these pieces cleaned up. I'm gonna epoxy with the 3M panel bond the hardware onto these pieces. I'll show you exactly what I'm doing, where they're going. We already got the hardware situated. We gotta grind down the heads. So we're doing 6 bolts, 3 per side. So this here is the product that we used on the rest of the kit, 3M panel bond. You're gonna need one of these guns. We got everything cleaned up. I just used some reducer. The only bolt that's actually going through the panel is this one up here. And then the other 2 bolts, one's gonna be stuck right there, one's gonna be stuck right there. Let's go ahead and slap these things on. So I have a feeling that all of this is just gonna drip off because I kind of have to keep it upside down. So I'm gonna grab, so what I do with fiberglass resin as well, and it seems to work good. Just grab a little piece of tape and put it over that. Hopefully it doesn't mess up the keying process. Just keep it in there. I'm gonna let these sit for a day and we should be good. Next thing on the agenda is some front bumper prep. It's not gonna take a whole lot. We have peeling paint right up here, so all of that needs to come off. We have broken fiberglass here, broken fiberglass here. I'm gonna go ahead, fill all of these holes right here that we do not need. Same thing on the passenger side. We got those holes we don't need. I do need to go ahead and cut the bumper as well. So I'm gonna mark that real quick. I'll cut it outside so we don't make a mess in the shop. And then just kind of scuff up and make sure the rest of the bumper is perfect, smooth, flat, and ready to go for some vinyl wrap. First thing is gonna be all of the fiberglass work. So all of the fiber will be placed on the backside. I'm gonna scuff everything up with 40 grit sandpaper. I'll actually probably do it on the DA, wherever that thing went, because it's a little bit faster. So scuff it all up, slap on some resin, get the fiberglass laid. And then of course up here as well, we gotta get all that glassed in. So let's get some fiberglass laid. This front bumper is all finished up and ready to be wrapped. Holes are filled. We didn't fill that one because we need it. That is for the quick release. So everything's good there. The little bit of peeling paint that we had up here. That's all sanded down, ready to go. These mounts are rebuilt. I do need to spray some color on there just because that is a little bit janky looking. And then over here as well, holes are filled and ready to go. I was initially gonna spray the entire front bumper, but now that I know the condition of the rest of the car underneath the wrap, I don't really see a point to doing that. I've been seeing a lot of comments about respraying this entire car, and it's been in the back of my mind. I'm not saying it's gonna happen. I'm not saying it's not gonna happen. If it does happen, it's not gonna be right now, just because we have so much other stuff going on. And I know it's gonna be a ton of prep work, probably like a week plus of just prep work. So if it happens, it'll be in the future. I've been seeing that comment a lot. I know you guys want to see it. I've never done a full respray on a car before, so it definitely scares me, which is good because I like getting out of my comfort zone. And of course, this would be the perfect car to do it on because it needs a full respray anyway. Clearly, underneath the wrap is very effed up. So yeah, I don't know if it's gonna happen. For now, it's not gonna happen. We already have the wrap. We don't have to redo the whole car for wrap. We have the wide body panels, bumpers, and that quarter panel, and that's it. The rest of the car's already done. Gonna go ahead, call it a wrap right here on the video. It's getting late. Another long, successful day in the shop. I have no clue when this car is gonna be done, but I don't really care. I'm loving it, I'm enjoying it, and I hope you guys are too. Peace out, my friends. I'll see you tomorrow.